In this half hour, the powerful House Committee chairman who says the Obama administration is not answering his questions about a fatally flawed investigation of gun smuggling. Also, tonight's truth about how much Donald Trump's endorsement of Mitt Romney might mean to the voters. And tonight's moment you missed. Push-ups, anyone? House Republicans want heads to roll over a government program that sent U.S. guns to Mexico's drug gangs in what was an effort to trace gun smuggling. Some of those guns ended up killing innocent people, including a U.S. Border Patrol agent. Today, the Attorney General Eric Holder was on Capitol Hill to testify about that program, dubbed Fast and Furious, Operation Fast and Furious, and an earlier operation called Operation Wide Receiver.
Have you, to your knowledge, disciplined anyone from Wide Receiver?
No, I have not.
Have you disciplined anyone from Fast and Furious?
No, I have not as yet.
The man you just saw there, the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee Chairman Darrell Issa, joins us live from Capitol Hill. Mr. Chairman, thanks for joining us on a busy day. This is not the first time you've had the Attorney General up, not the second time you've had the Attorney General up. Has he fully answered your questions now? And if the answer is no, what's missing?
Well, certainly the Attorney General was a cooperating witness today, and I'm very happy he came, and he said the hearing was fair. This was the third time, or the third different committee that he had participated in questions related to Fast and Furious, and under his leadership, what has or hasn't been done. The challenge we have is that there are a number of key assistants, deputy assistant secretaries, and so on, our attorney generals, including Lanny Breuer, who clearly had culpability. You know, Lanny Breuer knew that guns were walking in 2010. He advocated for them continuing walking even February 4th of 2011. And quite frankly, he's still there. He still has his job. And we are concerned that there hasn't been the kind of house cleaning necessary to make sure people with this flawed judgment aren't still there. And I, for one, have made it clear. My problem with Eric Holder is you can't wait a year, wait for the IG before you do things if, in fact, you have people whose decision process was wrong or who failed to do their jobs. We still think there's a lot of culpability in Washington in justice.
Well, Mr. Chairman, we're talking on a Thursday evening. On Tuesday, you sent the Justice Department a letter in which you said if the Attorney General failed to provide you with certain documents requested, you would, quote, have no alternative but to move forward with proceedings to hold you in contempt of Congress. Is contempt still a possibility, or are you satisfied now?
Well, no, it's always one of the tools, and the Attorney General today still said that he felt his policy, although not supported by the Constitution, of not supplying internal deliberation, things that they said, except in the rare case of this false letter, was appropriate. We disagree with him. We offered to have some additional discussions on it. We have been told there will be some additional documents coming. Our committee has been patient. We've gone through the process of asking plus subpoenaing. We intend to continue working with Justice, but we wanted him to know that we really did believe we had an obligation to get to the bottom of all aspects of Fast and Furious and, if you will, I'm not going to use the word cover-up, but the misstatements that came through after the fact that now have been recanted. We believe we will have some success working with the Attorney General, but ultimately we need to make sure that there are steps taken to make sure this can never happen again, and a letter alone saying we don't walk guns isn't sufficient for the American people. It's certainly not sufficient for the family of Brian Terry, who lost their son, their brother, their cousin in this Border Patrol agent you mentioned in the lead-up. So we have to also get answers there to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Are you troubled at all about the confrontational tone between some of the Republican members and the Attorney General? He was leaning on his elbow at one point. He clearly looked a bit scornful. Dan Burton called his testimony baloney, and he had the confrontation with Raul Labrador of Idaho. I want you to listen to the Attorney General's response in that particular case.
Do I treat the members of this committee with respect? I always hope that I do. And what you have just done is, if nothing else, disrespectful. And if you don't like me, that's one thing. But you should respect the fact that I hold an office that is deserving of respect.
Well, I think some of your members crossed the line, Mr. Chairman, did they?
Well, clearly the Attorney General was very sensitive to comments statements, literal statements that will go back related to the Mark Rich pardon under Bill Clinton. It was not within the, if you will, the primary set of questionings. Mr. Labrador tried to use those to say, don't you have a problem of not reading things, which is what the statements were in the past. There was some merit to it. It was pretty tough questioning. The Attorney General didn't like it. But overall, the Attorney General said that the hearing was fair. I believe he believes he was treated overall with respect by all the members. But it was tough. It was a tough hearing. This is a tough subject in which 2,000 weapons have gone walking, gone missing. They're now in the hands of drug cartels, and Americans and Mexicans are less safe. So I think for a tough hearing, it was done generally well. One of the things I need to make you aware of is every member of Congress, left and right of me on the dais, has an absolute right to use their 5 minutes in any way they see fit. So that's something that members who come before the Congress understand, and sometimes it's tough from the other side of the aisle, too.
Chairman Issa, as always, appreciate your time tonight, sir.
Thank you, John.